Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so today we're going to cover some basic cutting techniques. These are different ways that you can cut different sizes and shapes of paper, just techniques that you should be always thinking about whenever you're making a collage. And remember, all of these should be layered or overlapping each other in some way, shape, or form. So the first ones that we're going to go over are going to be simple shapes. So the differences are going to be organic shapes and geometric shapes. So if I take a piece of paper and I take a pair of scissors and I start to cut something that doesn't really have hard lines, that is what's going to be an organic shape, because organic means something that you can find in nature, and nature tends to not have really hard lines. So that would be an organic shape. A geometric shape would be something that has straight, linear lines, however you wind up making it. So difference: organic shapes, geometric shapes. Alright, so the next one that we're going to cover, cut to reveal line. So this is where you're going to have a shape, and then if you want to cut something out so that you just have a skinny line showing. Cut this. So I'm revealing just a line, and I can have it possibly go on the other side. So it's cutting to reveal a line. The next one that we're going to cover is layering. Layering is pretty easy. That's when you're just taking two different things. It could also be something that's the same shape, but that you just want to make bigger. So I can come around. And see, now there are two different colors, and they're layered on top of each other. So layering is basically when you just have two things on top of each other. The next thing that we're going to cover is overlap. So overlap is different than layer, because layer, they're directly on top. Overlapping means that they're partly sticking off of each other. So, again, this is overlapping, and this is layering. Okay, the next one that we're going to do is counter change. So this means that you're going to take a sheet of paper, and you can actually cut out different shapes, and then have them reflected. So here I'm going to keep cutting pieces off and then show you what I mean. So I'm cutting all around the edge, and I'm trying to make sure I know which piece goes where. So if I put these all back together, this one goes down here, this one goes here. How it becomes a counter change is you reflect it across the axis. So I'm going to reflect it, and then I'm going to reflect that. And this literally means that I'm just flipping it over so it becomes the opposite. So that is our counter change. So next cutting technique, positive and negative space. So this is when you are having two different objects, and you want to see it as a positive space and a negative space. So a positive space is pretty much anything that you're cutting out, and a negative space is the hole that's left behind after. So I'm going to finish cutting this. So this is the negative space, because there's nothing filling it up. And this is the positive space. So it's similar to when we cut out our organic shapes. So again, negative space because there's nothing here, and positive space. So this is a really good idea if you're trying to show a shadow of something. It could be behind it, things like that. Alright, so our next one is punch. This one's pretty simple. If you have a shape, maybe you have two shapes that you're overlapping, layering together, and you want to punch something out of both of them. Punching is just literally making hole punches. You can actually do the punches in your thing, or you can put these together to create an effect as well. They create really awesome snow if you pile them up. So yeah, so that's punches. Make sure if you're hole punching that you get all of your little punches that you're not using in the trash. And our last thing is explode. And explode is when you're having one whole piece and you're exploding it into a bunch of different pieces. So if I have this whole square as my one piece, and then I'm just going to slowly cut it apart from a central point. And I have to make sure I keep all of my pieces together where they're supposed to be so that I can show you how it's exploded apart from each other. It's kind of like putting a puzzle back together. Oops. So this, when I'm all done, should create a square if I could puzzle make. And really? Oh. Okay. So I'm exploding it out from a central point. Alright, if you guys have any other questions, just let me know.